of the big things that I know we see a lot of when we're doing couples work, and even just relationships in general, is not acknowledging that our past has to do with how we view relationships. Like acknowledging that not only our childhood, but our, environment, things that we have gone through, all that is the self-awareness piece.
Yes.
So I see just a lot of people not understanding why they're having failed relationship after failed relationship, and then when you dig a little deeper, it's either, okay, what kind of relationships did you see growing up? What kind of relationships, what do you want? What are your expectations? So I don't know about you guys. What do you guys see a lot of?
All of it.
Yeah.
All of it.
Right.
And it's funny because you got to be a different type of person to do couples work. And I love it because a lot of times it is just, love my psychoeducation. You can't change what you don't understand. And even yesterday in class, we were talking about conditioning. And I said, there's the frog story, and I said, and even in family therapy, there's conditioning, and everybody's got their language and everybody's conditioned. So many times they're operating from, limbic brain emotions because they know each other so well, but a lot of times what they don't understand is that everybody's very conditioned into responses. And even though they've got a system, their pattern of behaviors are maladaptive, and a lot of times they don't see it. They really don't. And that's what I've really come in. And so I say it's great because I get to be objective. They're subjective. I'm objective. So I'm sitting back and sometimes, I'm looking and I'm watching. I go, wait, okay. And I get to know, because I do a lot of individual plus couples work, which a lot of people don't do. But because I'm like, okay, you're showing up this way here, you're showing up this way there. But in relationships, that is not what's happening. And so sometimes, and even as therapists, you got to be a little bold to do, because I know you love it. And TJ, I know you've done it. You haven't done it lately, but sometimes I'm like, oh, here we go.
I know. And I didn't even want to touch relationship works, back in the day, but I mean, couples work, but now I do love it because of all the different dynamics.
I like it. I didn't say love. I like it and I will get back to it. But because I realize too, from my own perspective of doing couples work, there's 3 brains in the room, 3 voices, 3 brains. And sometimes it's hard to make that connection with both, the partners in the room to really make that connection and make it stick, because it's like they get it in there and then they go out in the real world and there are places where they live or whatever. And then they come back and it's like, okay, what happened last week? Like, what page were you guys? You guys were on the same page when you left here. What happened? And so that was a lot of the reason why it's like, let me step back a little bit and just kind of regroup and revisit couples at another time, because it's hard work. It's definitely hard work. And you have to have that skill to actually do it. You know what I mean?
And you're doing 2 people.
Yes.
You're doing also the relationship. And, I know one thing with therapists is like, we have to think of the couple as the unit. You're not looking at individuals. So it's like we always say, like, okay, you have to have individual therapy as well, because you have to have that self-awareness, insight, and your role in the relationship. Absolutely. It can't just be about your partner's issues. It's a joint effort, and a lot of things too that I see in, like, let's say the younger ones, maybe not necessarily marriage, but like if individuals are coming to us and they're having all these relationship issues, or, they're failing and they don't understand why, diving deeper. Okay, what is your idea of a partner? What is something that you see as a healthy relationship? Sometimes people don't even know what to say to that.
Absolutely.
And then diving into like, okay, is it just chemistry or is it compatibility?